This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
Hey there, it's Mark Slaughter of the band Slaughter, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio with Michael Spedden. Right here, crank it up, baby.
Hey, this is Lou Maestro, and you are listening to Fowl Players Radio with Michael Spedden.
And welcome to Season 11, Episode 22 of Fowl Players Radio, Season number 11, because we got 11. And tonight we welcome George Dimitri, formerly of TAZ, also with Alive and Kickin, Timeless Haunt, and currently with Severed Angel. We reconnected recently through the magic of social media. My former band Orange Sheet Parade used to play with TAZ quite a bit back in the late 80s and early 90s at places like The Rage. And then we also reminisced about the Paragon and a number of the other clubs that were very popular back then. And we had a great time just catching up and talking about those things. George has re-released all of the TAZ material onto a CD called Razor's Edge. And we talked about that, a bit about his other bands, Alive and Kicking, used to play with Joe Rose, in some of the bands I was in my early garage band days. And we talked about, his other bands, the material that's coming out, all the music from TAZ, Timeless Haunt, Severed Angel, can be found online wherever you buy music online. And it's sounding good. It's definitely sounding good. So definitely an enjoyable episode. Great to catch up and reminisce about the old days. And stick around. We will be right back with George Dimitri right after these words. The Fowl Players of Perryville, the Mid-Atlantic's premier murder mystery company, have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing, Susky River Beverage Company, Madigan's Waterfront, Maryland Party Boat, and more. If you are interested in seeing a show, our website is www.fowlplayersofperryville.com, and if you are interested in booking us, please reach out to us at foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Remember, every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. and Sunday at 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the replay is The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's pure rock worldwide. We feature blasts from the past, songs you forgot you liked, hidden gems, classics that never die, local and national act interviews, and music from up-and-coming and beloved classic bands. Go to www.97underground.com and download the free app today and listen to us wherever you go, anytime, anywhere. Also, see our archive of interviews on YouTube at 97 Underground Michael Spedden. We thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio. Our main website is www.fowlplayersradio.com, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Remember, please support our guests in their endeavors. Shop small and buy local. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and much, much more can be found in the show notes of each episode. Enjoy today's show.
Hey, this is Ronnie Youngkins, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio. Rock and roll.
Hi, this is Jason Mitchell with Psycho Boy. You're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio, everybody. Season 11. We've got 11 seasons. It goes to 11. And I plan on going to 12 after this, too, and 13 and 14. So another friend of mine that I've reconnected with recently from the magical musical time of the 80s and 90s in Baltimore and the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic region. George Dimitri, a bassist from TAZ, is here with us today, and they've re-released a lot of material from TAZ. He has also been in a number of bands that have played original music over the years and has a number of CDs out. We're going to talk about that. Life as a musician in the Baltimore, DC area back in those days, what it was like, and some stories about that and much more. So, George, welcome. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to reconnect and reminisce about these days.
Yeah, it is.
We're not quite well, we're not that old yet, but
Yeah.
quite a magical time that a lot of people have really kind of said that and agreed to it, So I guess you've come out with the material with Taz. You've put
Mhm.
songs on the CD that were from a couple, both iterations of the band. I guess there were two iterations of the band over the years,
Yes.
and you've put out a CD that kind of has, I guess, half and half. Half from one version, half from the other.
Yes.
So tell us about this. It's called Razor's Edge.
Well, again, back in the 80s, late 80s, I was in a band called TAZ. And we had different members come in and out. So basically, it was two lineups, so to speak. And we had both lineups had played along on the scene. We played on the scene. We had also written original songs. So both lineups had gone into the studio and recorded those original songs. And not that long ago, I was trolling around on Facebook, and Heaven and Hell Records, who picked up and did this Taz CD for us here, they had made they put a post up about it. You might remember this band, Mariah.
Yes,
You
Mariah.
do remember?
Yeah.
And they were releasing their original music. So I made a comment and I remember these guys. I used to play at the Rage with them or something along those lines.
Yeah, Mariah, sure. They were there. Yeah.
They were a fixture there. Yeah. And so I was like, this is cool. They're getting to release their stuff. So I just made a comment saying, yeah, I remember these guys. I played with them. And so Jeremy from Heaven and Hell Records reaches out to me and he's like, well, who were you in? I was in a band called Taz. He goes, did you guys have original music? I said, yes, we did. You have copies of that music? I said, yes, I do. He said, can you send them to me? I said, sure. So I sent him the music and he liked it. And he said, how would you feel about us pressing a CD and promoting it? I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so I started reaching out to some of the old members. I hadn't spoken to most of these people in 35, 36 years. Let them know what's going on. Meantime, I got all the information I could. They got the songs, all these old pictures over to Jeremy, and his team took the music and pressed this awesome CD here. It's great quality and wonderful stock and everything else, and here we are. So just a passing comment on Facebook ended up that a record label, remastered the old songs and released them on CD.
That's great. That's great. And there are a lot of folks out there that are doing that. Some of these bands are coming back together. And I've had a bunch of them as guests on here. We've had Tainted Saints.
Yeah.
Tainted Saints. Interesting story with them. Their material kind of got discovered by a label by accident, by just somebody nosing around on the internet and liked it and reached out to them.
That's cool.
Psycho Boy. You remember Psycho Boy?
I do remember Psycho Boy. Yeah.
Yep. Let me see. Gaston. Gaston was Mark Schenker from Kix's band.
Okay.
Back in those days. And then Red Dye Number 9. They've been back together for a couple of years now, and
good for them.
They've released I'd say 2 albums in the last 3 years, and they're playing the hell out of Philadelphia and PA and Baltimore, back at it. So I've run into these guys over the years. I've been playing their stuff on 97 Underground, and people have been commenting like, "Oh my God, I love it." I remember seeing these folks. I remember seeing that band. It's I think, and I don't know, if you feel this way too, but I just think that the time in a lot of ways was magical. because we had a hell of a lot of fun. You know, there were great clubs,
Yeah.
great bands, but then there was like almost like an abrupt, like an abrupt change.
Yeah.
Kind of
It didn't,
derailed things, you know?
yeah, it didn't just fade out. It just seemed to stop.
Yeah. Um,
Damn that grunge.
yeah, I know. It's like it just seemed like then all of a sudden the metal just like, it's like you look outside and
hmm
it's just what happened here.
Where'd it go? Where'd it
Yeah,
go?
almost post-apocalyptic. Then you see people
Yeah.
walking around with goatees,
Flannel shirts.
flannel shirts, the striped socks, and the
Mhm.
combat boots.
Yeah. Singing about how miserable they are.
Yeah, yeah. And we were having fun. We weren't miserable that they were. I don't
Yeah.
know where that came from.
I don't know. I don't know. I did music to have fun. Yeah, you can write about serious stuff. That's all fine and good. But
Mhm.
everything to be just life sucks. I'm miserable. Blah blah. It's like, God, shoot me, please, someone.
Yeah, I don't want to be famous. I do.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah.
they're
Crying
pay.
about yeah. Like, hey, you don't have to. I'll take it. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then it was the grungier stuff and then like the funkier stuff started coming in, like the Red Hot
Yeah,
Chili Pepper style.
yeah.
And yeah, it just seemed like it kind of derailed. But
hmm
um I don't see the same, or maybe I'm just not looking, but it seems like the nostalgia has been
hmm
back for quite a while
Yeah,
for the pre-90 era as compared to, I mean, do you feel that way too?
I do. I mean, I was in a band called Alive and Kickin, and we opened up in 2010 for Striper and
Okay.
in 2011 for UFO.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Both at Bourbon Street, the old Hammerjacks too.
Yes, yeah. That was
Yeah.
great because as a matter of fact, we could talk about Alive and Kicking for a little bit. You could tell us about that because I was,
Yeah.
my very first garage band,
hmm
Joe Rose was my singer.
Yeah.
And a lot of shows that I did, like at Feathers, we
hmm
played with a band called Temper Temper. You know who was in that band, right?
Glenn Campbell, Jimmy Darr, Will
Yep.
Purdue,
Hmm.
and Tommy Croak was the singer.
Right, right. And Glenn, veteran player, been around a long time, a hell of a good player, hell of a nice
Hell
guy.
of a guitar. Yep.
Jimmy Darr has been a guest on this show, you know.
Yeah. Jimmy Darr was in the studio when we recorded. Was it the second TAZ stuff? I remember him. He was sitting in a corner. I don't know why he was there. He just was there.
He's from that area too. I mean, you
So
mentioned
he's
that.
probably hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was from that area too. He was I think he was an Edgemere boy.
Oh, well, that makes
Sparrows
sense.
Point area, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had him on. He talked about the Temper days. We talked about the closer. He's also a cancer survivor too.
Yes. Yeah, I'm aware.
Yep. And we talked a lot about that too. He came back and kept playing drums.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, he lost a leg.
yeah,
He
lost
got
him.
on stage with us and played with us a few times.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one-legged.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Didn't miss a beat. Wouldn't know it.
yep. Yeah, you would never know. It still sounds great. He's still doing well
hmm
too. Supports the show a lot too. He sent me a lot of guests as well. Made me some
Cool.
contacts and everything. But I remember when you opened for Striper, opened for
hmm
UFO. How was that? I mean, I'm a huge UFO fan.
It was
You know.
awesome. It was awesome. I mean, you get to be on a bigger stage,
Hmm.
and you've got a shit ton of people out there. And we were at that point, we just played our original songs on stage. So
Yeah.
that was great because Alive and Kickin started as a cover band. I joined them back in '03, I think, '04. But
Yeah.
by '08, '09, Glenn was in the band at the time.
Hmm.
And we started writing original music. And we went to Basement Floor and recorded
Yeah.
those songs with Joan singing.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you those.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
I'd love
haven't
to
heard
hear
them,
them.
if you haven't heard them, I'll send them to you.
I
And
haven't. I haven't spoken to Joe in years, but yeah, we were friends ever since God elementary school. Went through high school together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a great guy. Great
he
guy.
is. He is. His
Yes.
brother. He has a brother too. Is a
Mhm.
talented guy as
Oh,
well.
that's right. Yeah.
Um, he's a directing a lot of plays around town now too. He's been
Is
doing
he?
that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah. Both both good talents, good guys.
Hmm.
Known them
Yeah.
forever. Yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, we did all our original stuff, and I got to tell you, we had merchandise, we had CDs, we had
Sure.
T-shirts, and all that stuff. Sold out of everything at both those shows. And we were stocked, and everything was gone in no time. Because
Mhm.
we would haul it around with us to local shows and whatnot. And we were playing. Yeah, you sell a CD here, a shirt there. That's cool. Everything cleaned out.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to interact with UFO at all, or were they kind of separate from you?
They were kept a little bit separate. I mean, so yeah, we didn't get really interact with them.
Hmm.
So we did interact with Striper though. We got to
Oh,
hang with them, so that was really cool.
how was that?
That was great. They got done playing and they were awesome. And so we're just kind of standing backstage, and Robert Sweet comes walking in, and he says, "Where are all the people? I came in to hang with the people." I was like, "Well, we're here." So he hung with us for I don't know how long, and it's great. We just shot the shit, and
Hmm.
such a down to earth guy.
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of hard when you never know the right thing to do or say in those
Hmm.
situations too, because you don't
No,
want to cause a
yeah,
problem, or you never know
right.
how people are when it comes to that. When I filmed The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Tina Fey was the
Hmm.
producer. And talk
Wow.
about pressure. When I was doing my lines and my scene, she was standing like 10 feet away from me off camera watching, and I was just like, geez. But she
Yeah,
came over and spoke to me a little bit and was very nice and very complimentary and everything. But
that's cool.
yeah, but you never know. You don't want to go over, hey, how are you?
Yeah,
And
you don't
you
want to
got
go all fan geeky either. Like, oh my god, it's yeah.
I know. It is, but yeah, but it's really cool when they come over and say something to you. Then you
Hmm.
can kind of it's okay.
Yeah.
Some people just and there's the stories I've heard where some people are just like don't look at me, don't touch me, don't
Yeah.
go away. So
Yeah, it
I
wasn't any of that with you.
I can imagine a lot of people open for Rainbow over the years probably experienced that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that a hell of a band there. Glenn, Joe,
Hmm.
and Glenn again. He's always God. I played with him in a couple of the bands I was in over the years, and he always had great bands too. Temper
Yeah.
Temper was the one that we played with
Right.
quite a bit.
Hmm.
There, and he had that together for a good while, and
Yep.
well, that's great. So, and then you had mentioned some of the other bands that you had done after that. You've
Hmm.
had let me see, of course, Severed Angel.
Right. That's my
You're
current band.
That's the current band now. So
Right.
tell us a bit about that. Are you playing out much? Are you doing more
No.
now?
No. And the reason for that is the rest of Severed Angel, they all are in New York, Long Island, and whatnot. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
up in Auburn, Pennsylvania, so I'm about 3 hours away. So I mean, it's doable, but
Hmm.
again, the way things are now with being able to record at home,
Hmm.
um, we just write and record. We send each other parts. We all have home studios,
Hmm.
and our singer Alex is, I mean, he is an audio engineer. He basically does that for a living, and so he can take everything, and what you hear is him, you know, being a studio engineer.
Sure, sure.
So that's a nice plus to have.
Hmm.
Somebody in the
Oh,
band knows how to do that stuff.
I know, I know. Yeah, there's I know how to do a lot of that stuff, but I can just, like badly, but
Yeah,
yeah.
same. It's like you need me to send you a bass line, I can record it and then I can edit it, make it sound however you want it to sound. That's the extent of it. Here you
Hmm.
go. I give you a
Right,
nice final product. But
right.
we want to play out. We want to play out. But a lot of these are paid, pay-to-play shows. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that. You get 5 other bands. It's like you play 40 minutes. You're rushing to get up there. You're rushing to get off.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want to do that. The other
I
thing
don't blame
too
you.
is we do want to get together,
Mhm.
and we really, if we're going to get out there and play, you know, whatever we do, we want to make sure that we are giving the best that we can, and that's what
Yeah.
people deserve, and
Mhm.
not half-ass it. And so we need to be able to get together and practice a few times to do that. And it hasn't been easy for us to do. We've gotten
Oh,
together
yeah.
a couple times before to do pictures, and we've played together some,
Mhm.
but not enough where it's tight enough where we can go out and do it justice. We could stumble through it, but we don't want to do that. We're going to do it right.
Right. And this I'm sure it's, it's available on I guess wherever you buy music online. Is it
Oh yeah,
yeah.
all this places, yeah. And you can get a physical CD through us, through Bandcamp, through our website, severangel.com.
Okay.
But also you can hear all this stuff on every one of the distribution, music sites out there, the iHeart
Mhm.
and Amazon and Apple and all that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Well, I'd love to hear some of that too. And maybe give you some spins on 97. I can definitely
I'd
help a brother
appreciate
out
that.
there. It's
Thanks, buddy.
yeah, the
Appreciate that.
Greek town of Dundalk, close enough.
That's it. That's
Practically
it.
paisan here.
We
Right?
are. We are. Definitely.
Yep.
Ate in the same restaurants, went to the
Oh
same
yeah.
places. Hell yeah.
Sure. 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 Absolutely. And so you had mentioned, you were talking a little bit earlier, commiserating about the steps at the Paragon, and
Huh.
so I see you got a lot of gear behind you here.
Yeah,
Is that like a 7-string bass you have?
it is. That's a Conklin GT7. What you see back there behind me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually the bass I use to record everything.
Wow, man, that's something.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I've never played even a 5-string. I never bothered with it. Mine are all 4. Um,
That thing is tuned like a guitar
yeah,
with a
yeah,
low B, so it's B and then E to E.
okay.
So it's if you could just same chord fingerings and whatnot, just bigger spacing. But
Hmm.
yeah, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff. I got an old Yamaha DX7 right here. Remember
Oh,
these from the
okay.
80s?
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. You can
Yep.
see the stand-up acoustic bass back there. Behind
Yep.
that's my primary Conklin that I play out live. That
Okay.
red thing right behind the up right there.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yep. Yeah,
I
I can
even
see
have
it.
I even have pulling the headphones off. That wasn't graceful at all.
Yeah.
This is my first bass I ever bought.
Oh, wow.
It's a Court. Court's the
Court.
brand name.
Yeah.
Titan. So yeah, first thing I ever bought was this thing. So I think the Taz stuff, I don't know if it was all recorded with this. Some of it was, but the
Mhm.
original bass. Of course,
Right.
hot pink because back in the day with all the glam metal and whatnot, so yep, gotta have a hot pink bass.
Oh yeah, Twisted Sister Pink there, right?
There it is.
Hmm.
Gotta love it. So.
Yep. Yeah, the Court and I remember Courts and there were a couple of other ones too. Court or Harmony. You remember Harmony?
I do. I
Yep.
do.
Yeah, those were there were some of them that you would get, like, especially if you got a student model,
Oh
you
yeah.
really learned how to play on those things because a lot of times they had action you could drive a truck under.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
really got your fingers. Yeah. I have an original BC Rich NJ Warlock.
oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and of course you buy it because oh my god, this thing looks so cool, like metal, blah blah. Sounds like utter ass. I even
Mhm.
changed the pickups. I put active EMGs in, and it just I didn't like the sound. I never thought it had a good sound to it. And
Right.
then basically just just the construction of it, just the materials and whatnot. You only can
Mhm.
you only get so much out of it.
Right. I always played Gibsons.
Oh,
I've had Fenders and Gibsons is all I've really
mhm.
played. And
Standards.
yep, I had what I had was an RD Artist, and I still have it.
Hmm.
And that thing was again back in the era of hot pink and hot green and all
Yeah,
that. It was just a maple colored old Gibson from the 70s.
nice.
And it was kind of shaped like an Explorer, but a little more rounded off.
Mhm.
And people would look at me in those days, and be like, "What are you playing that for?" I'm like, "Because I like it. That's my
Uh,
bass. But people are like, "What are you playing?" And then all of a sudden, when the bass player for Nirvana started playing one,
right. Yeah.
then all of a sudden, a couple years later, and even into guy from the Flock of Seagulls played one too in the '80s. But
Oh
later
yeah.
on, later on, you start looking on eBay, and they're going for $4,000.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got a like a G3 grabber bass
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Those are my two primary ones now that I play. But
Well, there you go.
yep, and I have an Ampeg. I have a mini head that's
Yeah.
got transistors in it instead of tubes. And
Yeah.
that thing, you can lift it with one finger. I was like, this is
Yeah.
an Ampeg. You would think it was just like a dummy thing for show.
Right.
But
Or a little table lamp type thing. Yeah.
yeah, but I tell you, the Ampeg rigs would make a man out of you back then.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Good God. Even though the 810 cabinet had wheels and a handle,
Hmm.
I mean, it's great when you're rolling it across the floor, but you go up steps with it, forget it.
Hmm.
That
I know.
thing is a beast.
And then the heads too. Good
Yeah.
grief. I mean,
Yeah, I
God.
go, shit, I got to run back down and get the head.
Hmm. Gosh, I tell you, that was I think we were the ones in those days that justified the smaller, compact, and lightweight gear. I
Yeah.
think
Mm-hmm.
it got to the point where, again, what as they say, necessity is is the
Mother
mother
of
of
invention.
invention.
Uh-huh.
Somebody just said, "Screw this noise," and they
Yeah.
just
It
called their
got to,
friend who was good with tools, and here we
yeah.
are.
Yeah, you start off and you've got all this gear and you think, oh, this is awesome. And then you start having to haul it, set it up, break it down. It's like, God, this is a pain in the ass. So you start consolidating. I
Hmm.
remember got to the point where I was playing in cover bands that literally I would plug in direct. It's
Hmm.
like bass
Yeah.
chord. That's it.
Hmm.
Just plug right into the snake or whatever, and just feed me through the monitor. I'm good.
Right, right. When I came back to playing music, I played just in an acoustic guitar duo,
Mm-hmm.
and I never used an amp. I just went direct. Went through
Sure.
a direct box through the PA. That's enough. That's
That's all you
enough.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I was like, I'm getting older. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
Hey, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Got to
can
be
go to
more
sleep.
efficient.
Right. I
Yeah.
can take my guitar case in the house and go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. So I was just looking over just a couple of things that we remembered about the scene back in the day.
Yeah.
Of course, 97 Underground was
Mm-hmm.
around, helping local bands, giving people, I think, a lot of the respect and then the due
Mm-hmm.
um, that a lot of the other stations either couldn't or wouldn't do.
Right.
Um, the one thing with 97 is that they really weren't beholden, to
Yeah.
any like large communications firms or anything out there that told them what they had to play. It was a little more
No.
free form. And I
More
think,
independent.
yeah, more independent.
Yeah.
Um, but there was a number of like different things. And you may remember this or not. Do you remember the Monsters of Edge Rock Festival that they had in Edgemere?
I do not.
Yep.
Uh.
I brought that up to a couple of people because that's where I met Scarlet Angel.
Ah. Yeah.
And actually they're out too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they never left either. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they never stopped either, and they just celebrated 40 years
Crazy, huh?
this year. It's been Kim and Michelle.
Yeah.
Jackie just came back,
Oh, cool.
and they're
Yeah.
looking for a bass player. Yeah, they had Abby Atradovic singing for them for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're back and they're looking to go all original now, get away from the covers.
Good for them.
Yep.
Good for them.
But
They'll do
it
well.
was, yeah, they will. They will.
Mm-hmm.
The Monsters of Edge Rock, I can't remember. I don't think it was a 97 Underground thing, but I think it may have been promoted on there.
Okay.
But that was a thing in somebody's backyard. I think the hamburger meat was bad, and they just had a bunch of kegs of beer and some bands playing. And Jimmy Dore
Sure.
played at that too, with Diamond Gypsy with Mike Diamond.
Oh God, yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yep. Yep. And let me see. It mentioned you remember we talked about the showcases they did at Maxwell's. Did you guys ever do the Midway?
No, I don't think we did.
Now, what were some of the rooms you guys did?
What's Paragon, The Rage,
Yeah.
played Network.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, opened up for Duville. You remember
Yes, yes. I can't again. I can't say that I'm a connoisseur of them, but I
that?
do
Right.
remember the band name. I remember seeing them like in Hit Parader and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had a female singer, and I remember the drummer did like a little drum solo. He had like baseball bats. And he was banging on his toms. Like, okay, cool.
Why not?
Yeah, what the hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Club 10 played there. Manny's in Rockville was the first TAZ gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are main places, and we might have done a couple other spots here and there. I just don't remember.
Sure, sure. That is yeah, there were some really great places back then. Did you ever do any of the youth places that were out? The There was Club K was one of them. It was the back of a music store in Essex.
Yeah, no, we didn't do that, but I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, those were great. Those shows were
Mhm.
always fun. And did you ever? And there was a couple of them. There was like the brewery, the Natty Bow Brewery, the Brewers Hall
Yeah, yeah,
had shows for a while too.
yeah.
We played there, and Nat got punched in the face by somebody, and I can't remember.
That was the nicest kind of world. Why would somebody want to hit him?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Who knows?
Who
Who
knows,
knows?
right?
Yeah. There was also another place called the Dry Dock.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Highlandtown.
Yeah.
That,
Hal Daddy's.
Hal Daddy's, yeah, that was after Orange Seed. I went there, but I never played there.
Right. Yeah, same. I
Um,
went there. I never played.
yeah, the Dry Dock was. See, the thing is now it's like everything. You know it. Everything used to be Highlandtown.
Right.
Now it's Brewers Hill. Now it's Canton. You know, it's like there was. I mean, there was Canton, but there was no Brewers Hill back
Yeah,
then.
what the hell's Brewers Hill? Where's that designate? I'm like, okay.
It's. I think it's something real estate agents make up.
Yeah, just to inflate the value.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
Save
you
you.
live in Highlandtown, or would you like to live in Brewers Hill? You
Pretty
know?
much. Would you please pass the jelly? That's what that is. Yeah, like up there, the A through K is like Bayview now or something.
Right.
Okay, because the hospital's Hopkins Bayview. Yeah.
Right. You know, it's City Hospital.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's City Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I went there with many a busted head when I was growing up. You know, that explains a lot. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me too, it's still the Civic Center too. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. What is it now? What do they call it? Is it Baltimore
Oh,
Arena or was Baltimore Arena?
it's the Baltimore Civic Center, the Baltimore Arena.
Yeah.
There was the Royal Farm Arena, and now I think it says CFG Arena. And
These fucking corporate names.
yeah, I was looking at some concert coming around. I saw it on Facebook and it said CFG Arena. I was like, where is that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's the Civic Center.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you agree. It sounds like you agree with me. It's like, give me Memorial Stadium. Don't give me M&T Bank Stadium, you know?
Yeah, well, when they're giving them how many millions of dollars to put the name on the wall, I get it.
Right. I mean, I guess they're
That's what
taking,
it is.
yeah,
It's corporate advertising.
yeah, people are willing to give the money to it, but does it really make a difference? I don't.
No.
Maybe it does. Maybe they can justify it. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have a Foul Players Radio Stadium. There we go.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
Well,
Let's bring to it.
Well, thank you, and just for that, you'll get a skybox.
Woo-hoo! I'm there.
You'll get a skybox, and yeah, that was yeah, but I just don't. You know, I'm not a fan of that corporate naming of things. You know, or that just rubs me the wrong way for some reason. It just doesn't
Too
sound like a home.
sanitized. It's not. It doesn't sound inviting. It's too
Yeah,
cold and sterile. If that makes sense.
right, right. And it doesn't feel like a neighborhood or a community.
No, no, it doesn't. I mean, Memorial Stadium is named obviously because of the veterans and whatnot, so it had a special meaning to it.
Hmm.
M&T Bank, it's okay, yeah, fine, I get it.
Right.
Again, corporate. Oriole
Right.
Park, Camden Yards, that's
Hmm.
still,
Yeah, that's still good. But isn't it still weird to drive up? I don't know if you've been around much, but you drive up 33rd Street. Isn't it still weird to see like no light
yeah,
towers?
yeah, yeah. What is it now? What they?
It's it's like a whole campus that includes like a YMCA and like a home, like an assisted living type home.
Okay,
And I think there's a library there.
so community-based stuff,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
yeah. I mean, I know that stadium had to go just because of the condition it
yeah,
was in after all those years, but it still is just, whenever I'm driving up 33rd Street, I'm always like,
yeah,
where are the light? Oh, yeah, they
yeah,
tore it down 25 years ago, old
yeah,
man.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think home plate, didn't they take that and put it in Camden Yards?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so that's still there.
Hmm.
Now, is
Yeah.
the facade going? The old Memorial Stadium facade?
Part of the facade, there was the last line of the facade that says, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds,"
Yeah.
was taken down and re-erected between the Ravens and the Orioles stadium.
Okay.
So there's like a walk between them. It's right there.
Little monument type thing.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah, yep. So that's kind of what they did with it. And that's nice. It is a nice thing, I think. Keeping. I mean, I know it wouldn't be practical to keep that whole wall,
Of
but I
course
think
not.
the most important portion of it, I think they were able to keep, which was
Right.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. How about we were talking about um the environment, of the clubs, how there was competition, but it wasn't cutthroat or really backstabbing. It was more friendly.
It was very community based. It was very familial. Everybody sort of helped everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody helped elevate everybody else on this
Hmm.
team. It wasn't you stepped on somebody and well, tough shit to try to advance yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a very friendly scene.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think there was a lot, again, a lot of it was like a family in a lot of ways. I mean, there were times, don't get me, people did have squabbles, and that happens in any
Yeah,
environment. But
yeah.
yep. Do you remember because there was actually, not only 97 Underground, Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Rock Live?
Yeah. Oh God, I too. Vaguely, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it was on very late on Saturday nights, and we were on it one time, and that was quite. I've told the story on the show a number of times. So I'm not going to bore everybody with it again, but I'll tell you what happened to us the night we did it. But quite a that's quite a story there. Probably the biggest Orange Sea Parade story out there. But that was something I'll never forget. Did But there was also a couple college stations were kind of friendly to playing local stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think HFS was maybe not so much metal, but
Right.
they would play
Hmm.
the local stuff.
Yep. Essex Community College did, Towson
Mm-hmm.
would too, I think
Sure.
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just, just a great time back in those days. And again, I'm really glad to see people kind of coming back and putting their stuff out there, and hey, unfinished business or
Yeah.
midlife crisis, whatever,
Probably a
it's
little of all of it. Yeah.
that's great. That's great.
But you don't expect. I mean, here it is stuff again I recorded 35, 36 years ago. It had its time. It was great back then. And all of a sudden, somehow, some way, fates have brought it back to the forefront, so to speak. And now we actually get to put it out there for people, in a CD format. And not just like I've got some MP3s of old songs that I pulled off my cassettes. So
Right.
It's pretty cool. It really is. And again, also with social media, we can all curse social media, but one of the good things is it gets you to meet people or run into people you haven't seen in, forever, reconnect with people, and it's great.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It was one of the upsides of social media because we all we don't have to say it again what the downsides are, but one of the big upsides of social media is that the reuniting and getting to reach out to people again and seeing people that you haven't seen in years and catching up, and it really is something, and it also makes you aware how time flies. I mean, I can remember first getting on Facebook, and then a friend of mine, it's a girl, hey, and then all of a sudden you look on Facebook again, oh, she's heading off to University of Maryland next year. I'm like, what? How did that? It's just one of those things that life goes on.
You blink and it's it just flies by.
It sure does. It sure does. Well, it's been great having you on, great to catch up with you and everything. I'd like to give you an opportunity to do your shameless plugs.
Shameless plugs. All right.
Shameless plug portion of the evening where you can shamelessly plug anything, be as shameless as you want, and spare no shamelessness. So, George, have at it, my friend.
Well, I've got several things to shamelessly plug. And the first thing we'll do is my band TAZ. TAZ is available on the CD is called Razor's Edge, available on Heaven and Hell Records. This is music that we recorded back in 88 and 89, original songs, remastered, and now available on disc. The next project I'm going to shamelessly plug is my band Timeless Haunt. 2 CDs, Haunted Symphony and Dark for Life, both came out on Storm Spell Records. This is a progressive, dark heavy metal.
Timeless Haunt. You broke up a little bit, so I'm just repeating Timeless Haunt. Okay.
That's correct. Yeah, Timeless Haunt.
Okay.
Storm Spell Records. And then, current project I'm in now is a melodic progressive type metal called Severed Angel. We just released our second CD. This is the first one I'm holding. I don't have the second one in my hand yet because it's that new. But you can also, you can get the Severed Angel stuff on Bandcamp or through us or on Facebook, all the usual places. All this music from all these CDs you can find on all streaming platforms, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Apple, whatever distribution of choice, it's there.
Okay.
So please enjoy. Play us on Spotify. Go check out all the YouTube channels for all of them. Subscribe, like, etc.
Yep. And all of the links and everything will be in the show notes. So you can look there and, you want to purchase or follow everywhere you can follow George. We'll be there. All the music, all the band stuff, everything will be right there in the show notes.
I'm like musical herpes. I never went away. I just keep popping up.
That's great. That's great. So, folks, we've been chatting tonight with George Dimitri, bassist of TAZ, Timeless Haunt, Severed Angel, Alive and Kickin. Many bands to his credit, and just a pleasure catching up with you and everything, and all my best luck to you.
Thank you,
with everything you plan on doing, and don't be a stranger to either 97 or here. Whenever you have some news, feel free to come forward and bug me.
I will. I plan on it.
That's one thing you can do is bug. I allow bugging. I'm not
bugging
somebody who you don't have to be invited. The door is always open. So, folks, we will see you all next time. And thanks again, George. Have a good night, bud.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. And folks, thanks for listening today to our interview with George Dimitri. I had a great time talking about TAZ, Alive and Kickin. Timeless Haunt, Severed Angel, talking about the clubs from back in the day. A lot of fun going down memory lane again. So remember, you can get his music wherever you find music online. Taz, Timeless Haunt, and Severed Angel are all available online. So also remember, the Foul Players of Perryville, we're back doing shows, foulplayersofperryville.com. If you'd like to book us, foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Remember, the Back of the Rack on 97 Underground between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Tuesday. The replay is Sunday from 3 to 5. We have interviews with local and national acts. We play local acts, unsigned acts, classic beloved bands, and up-and-coming bands. Music you forgot you liked, blasts from the past, and all that good stuff. Remember to go to 97underground.com. You can also find my archive of interviews at 97 Underground, Michael Spedden. And remember, foulplayersradio.com for all of our episodes here of Foul Players Radio. You can also find us on YouTube. Go to YouTube at Foul Players Radio. Folks, thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching and listening. And we appreciate you supporting our artists that we have on here. So until next time, folks, this is Michael Spedden signing off. We will see you next time.